Good morning. Happy Thursday. You guys, I'm having a first world problem with my desk setup right now. It's so good to see you guys. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Um, Watching it go live over here, making sure that we are all live on YouTube. I hope you guys are doing good. Okay, I know we're in varying levels of, I don't know which one is up and down, latitude, longitude, north and south, but, in Austin, we are digging out of the snow. We finally got warm enough that it all started melting. You guys, I was so proud that it occurred to me to shovel the snow off of our sidewalk day, like, 3. I was like, "Oh, yeah, I could probably help this situation." By doing some digging. So yesterday, yeah, Wisconsin, did you survive the snowpocalypse 2026? You know, I heard somebody say use COVID language, they're like, "It's time to shelter in place," and I was like, "Wow, that is a throwback." But yeah, we just basically sheltered in place. I am very aware that oh, is my volume spotty? Let me know if anybody else is having volume issues, and I'll just double check my cords for a minute. Um, but we, are not from cold weather, obviously, we're from Miami, where everything is flat road, no snow, and so the audio is jumpy. Let me do a really quick help I move my mic. Let me know if that helps. And if not, I wonder if I need to a bit. How about if I hold it? Ooh, echoey. Good mic, I got it, like, reset. Let's see. Alright, let me know how we're doing. But because I grew up holding is nice. Okay, that means it's just, like, a little too far away. I may have to, like, bend it. Okay. But growing up in South Florida, everything is flat road and we have no snow, and so what I know about myself is even though I lived in North Carolina briefly and am capable of driving in the snow, that I am not great at it, and I do not want to do it anymore, and so I, didn't. We just stayed home. Even yesterday, I was like, it was fine. I went to the gym in the afternoon, but I chickened out of driving in the morning because I don't wanna drive on black ice. So, when I got home from the gym yesterday, I was like, "Oh, I should now shovel all of this ice off of our entryway sidewalk so that I do not bust my tail." Back to echoing in and out when you go. Yeah, well, we'll just hold it. I'm not above it. Um, and then you guys let me know. And if not, we can get rid of the microphone. We can do it. I'm not opposed. Okay, let me go back up. Good morning. Good to see you. Good morning. Um, I think residency in Texas should include an ice and snow basic life class. I mean, it's gotten to that point, right, where it's like, why? Why? Yeah. When we were gonna move here, everybody was like, "No, it's fine. The weather in Texas, Central Texas specifically, is so great." You know, moving over from charades. Um, Moving over from Miami, the weather is so much better. There's no hurricanes, all that stuff. But I gotta tell you, like, since we've moved here almost 7 years ago now, it's like we spent Easter morning one year, like, in the closet with, like, tornado warnings. We've been here for, like, 2 or 3 snowpocalypse situations. Alright, I'm going to turn off my mic. We're just gonna see how, like, built-in goes. You guys tell me what you think. Just the built-in mic on the Mac, so we'll try it for a minute. But yeah, I do think that, now Texas should include, like, some sort of ice and snow basic life class because I don't know how to drive. We got about 8 inches of snow in Tulsa, mostly roads are clear, only spun out a couple of times, originally from Washington, so used to getting snowmageddon. If it were snow, that would be fine, but the ice shuts us all down. It is. It's so bad. The problem with the weather is, like, it's all ice, and then it gets just above freezing during the day, and then it, like, freezes overnight, and one of my kiddos is, "Oh, much better. Hooray." Alright, um, we'll take the max mic today and see how it goes. Um, you know what's so fascinating is that's, like, usually my good mic, so I'm not sure. I did move everything over to, like, from one side to another right before we got started, so I wonder if I, like, knocked one of my settings on my good mic, but I'm glad whatever works, right? Yeah. Um, yeah, here in Florida, although, like, I was watching like, the maps of Florida, and it was like, "This week, Florida is refusing to participate in winter." Like, like, Florida was fine, and then everything up was just snow, ice, all the things. 0 stars, do not recommend living somewhere snowy. I don't know how you guys do it, like well, I do know somebody was saying last week, like, from a perspective of gear, um, we don't even have the right clothes to, like, exist in that, right? Like, my joke is, like, how many tank tops do I need to layer to go out in, like, weather like that? It's just not a thing. Bob says, "Still no snow where I'm at in Wyoming, clear blue skies and chilly." You have a better weather than we do right now, although I think you want the snow, so you would probably change. It was kinda trippy driving yesterday afternoon and, like, seeing, like, all the snow on everybody's rooftops. Kinda weird, but, send some snow this way. My poor Idaho mountains are looking dry. Yeah, we've got, like, a flip right now, right, where it's, like, down south is getting all the cold and across, like, the middle US, and then you guys are, like yeah. You can always put on more clothes, but you can only take so much off. So I actually had somebody tell me that one time because I was like, "Why is it always so cold in this office?" And they were like, "Because you can take more clothes or you can put more clothes on, but you don't want me to take any more off," was the way she said it to me, and I was like, "Alright, well, fair enough." Oh, alright. Well, good morning, guys. Um, we are digging out down here, literally. I did my first round of, shoveling snow yesterday. It genuinely didn't occur to me until I, like, drove past some of my neighborhood. I was like, "Oh, I should so we're not, like, sliding all over this ice for the next couple days, even though it could be melted." So I figured this morning, let's start with a little bit of calendar admin logistics, and I'll probably circle back to it at the end just so that everybody, like, gets the full scoop. But next week, Thursday, is our special 2-hour co-office hour event. Kathleen Coble and I will be doing our office hours. We're back to back now, right? And since we've moved over onto um, YouTube and she's moved to Thursdays, and so we thought we'd do a fun kickoff for everybody. So next week we are going to be live on both her channel and the Fluencer Fruit channel for the full 2 hours from 11 a.m. Central Time to 1 p.m. So we're just gonna combine them together. And oh, just FYI, Mike is not gated. You cut in and out. Live with it so you can diagnose it later. Okay, let me know. I wonder if that means it's something with my internet connection. Okay, keep me in the loop. Let me know if you end up not being able to hear me specifically, but I'll keep an eye on it too. But so she and I next Thursday, it will be an audio interview, by the way, guys. Um, but it will be like a full 2 hours. So she and I are gonna talk about product research, creator connections, all things Amazon influencer, content creation. We're gonna do a little bit, of, like, historical Beth, what I thought about the 2 hours is Kathleen and I will be live on Fluencer Fruit and her channel for the full 2 hours. So morning, Karen. Nice to meet you. Nice to have you. So that is next Thursday. Then the following Tuesday, February 10th, we're going to have our next round of Claire and Nicole doing Amazon influencer strategy chat. So that is next Thursday. Sorry, that is next Tuesday the 10th. And then Lane has agreed to come do an office hours with me for we've got it set for, like, March the 5th right now. That's a Thursday. we're gonna talk about automations. So Lane's gonna come and join us Thursday. Did I say August? I'm so distracted by this audio situation. I was going to join us on March the 5th. It's a Thursday. Now, Thursday, February 26th, I am out of office, so we will not have office hours just that one day. But I wanted to talk through some of, like, the upcoming scheduling stuff so that you guys can, like, kind of big picture see what's coming. So February 5th, 1 week from today, 2 hours with Kathleen and I. February 10th, which is the following Tuesday, Claire and Nicole are doing Amazon Influencer Strategy Chat. March 5th, Lane will be doing automations. He'll be joining us. And then February 26th, no office hours. So, okay. I am a snowboard instructor, and I had to sleep on the ballroom floor in the hotel so I could work, but had fun snowboarding in the powder. Well, that's amazing. And where are you a snowboarder? Only place I've ever skied is out east in North Carolina, and, so I've never skied on powder, only on ice. Out here, we worry about fire season when we don't get much snow. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. That makes sense though, because everything's so dry in the winter. Hello. Okay, I am going to do one more thing, and I'm going to unplug the actual hookup for the microphone that we're not using, just in case that helps us overall. It should not impact us, but let's just do a quick check. Yes, okay. Just gonna take away, like, any extra reason interfering with our audio this morning. Powder is slow and more work. I'm a huge fan, back ice fan, Northeast style. I have only ever, like, skied on it, and I'm not much of a I like the idea of skiing. It's been years now, but, like, when we would go, all I remember is, when you're, like, cutting, I don't know what it's even called, but, like, it would just be, like, you'd be trying to cut into the ice coming down the mountains in North Carolina, so, but fun throwback, I used to work at a camp in the mountains of North Carolina, and I'm from Miami, as we all know ad nauseam, I'm sure. But we would have middle school groups come up to, like, go skiing, and, they were, "Liz, we are short somebody, we need you to take the group to the mountain and do, like, a ski intro and get them out on the slopes and show them where the hot chocolate was," which was the part that I am the best at, is like, "Hey, I can show you how to fall down. I can show you how to get up, and I know where the hot chocolate is." Those were my, like, strengths. So I was like, "Okay, they, definitely were in a pinch if they let me," because I was the business manager. I was not one of the, like, yeah, so, but I used to take junior hire skiing in North Carolina out on Beach and Sugar Mountain. So, Beach was my favorite, but the drive out of Beach was treacherous some nights. Also 0 stars, not recommended. Okay, Bear Creek in Macungie, Pennsylvania, and carving, Liz, thank you. I can imagine people who really like cold weather would have enjoyed, like, where we were in North Carolina, and I did enjoy being in North Carolina, just driving down from Beach Mountain in the snow when it was already cold and all those things. I'm sure that's, like, the height of my anxiety, right? Alright, so let's jump into it. Let's talk. We have a new version of Fluencer Fruit that, went live yesterday. So here are the 2 major things, that we got fixed this week. 1, um, if you have items, I don't know if Bob is with us today, but Bob, this was one for you that you noted for me. Um, if you have items in your cart, they no longer show up in the drop down. So I'm going to share my screen and we will take a look at this. But let's see, there we go. Give you guys a look so you can see. Kathleen's with us. Good morning. We just were talking about our office hours next week. Yay. Okay. So I added things to my cart over here, right? What was happening is in the drop down, when you clicked on this, the items in the cart were showing up in the drop down, which for people who use the drop down to kind of like keep an eye on things that they want to buy, that was taking up a lot of space for them. So no more of the items in the drop or cart items in the drop down. The other situation that was happening was in the filters, and I just realized I don't know if I have the updated version or a trial version right now, but we're just gonna demo it live because you just never know what's gonna but what was happening was, if you put in one, and we're about to find out which version you have of the software. Okay, yes, the right one. Good. So what was happening is put in 1 as the max, it was not including results that had 0, which obviously does not make that, um, as effective as we want it to be. So that is the side effect. So items in your shopping cart will no longer show up in the drop down when you push on it, and if you have a max of 1 for total influencer, brand, or number of videos, it will include results with 0. So we've got those 2 updates in there. Now, some of the things that we are working on this week are, the product page, if it has my video, has a bug, something updated on, one part of the code, and so that's not accurately showing up right now, so we've got a ticket in for that. The other thing we've got a ticket in is for the positioning of your videos. So currently on Creator Hub, and it's happening on mine on my storefront, when you click on that, it should say no carousel, upper, lower, both, right? And then on the left side is the upper carousel order. So if you're first, it should say 1, lower carousel on the right, and it should say, 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever order you are in that carousel. But there seems to be an issue with it just saying 0 across the board. So we've got a ticket in to fix that as well. So those are the 2 things. Oh, along with creator connection filters. So those are the 3 tickets that I've got for this sprint for the team to get those fixed for you guys. Yeah, that has love Bear Creek. The lodge is so cute. Now I wanna go. Good morning, you guys. Next week is gonna be so much fun. Kathleen and I are both obviously running. Both have 3 kids, which is pretty funny. So we end up being, like, all over the place, but it's like we have the opportunity to sit down and catch up. I told her afterwards, I was like, "I just wanna go sit and have coffee." But next week is going to be a lot of fun with both of us live. Bring your questions, and I would challenge you guys, bring your deep niche knowledge of Amazon questions. Kathleen is the person that I know who has made money the longest on Amazon, so back to the days of, like, selling textbooks on Amazon, and there is something about the ecosystem that is just different. So bring us all of your Amazon specific questions. Bring us all the questions, but bring those specifically. Hello! It's so good to have you. You guys, this is Alicia. She and I met over on TikTok, through TikTok Shop affiliate stuff, and, I'm so excited you can join us. All right, Brianne says, "So excited for CC filters to get fixed." Yes, me too. So I've been working through, like, getting tickets over to the team, and they're, getting through them, so very excited. Yay. You're too kind, can't wait for next week. Here's the other thing that I'll say about Kathleen, is she just kind of, like, off the cuff comes up with, like, advanced product research strategies and, like, different things to do to make money inside the influencer program or as a seller. It's pretty wild in a very cool way. Okay. I'm so excited. You guys, we moved over to YouTube for office hours starting last week, and I know even this morning in, the Wayward creator community, which is hosted over on Circle, we are getting feedback, and I really appreciate it, guys, whether you are, like, excited about something or whether you're kinda like, I need to take a constructive feedback on that. It's not just you, Amy. I don't know what's going on with you guys. I wonder. Hmm, I don't even have my second computer in here. Um, I'm gonna keep going and just keep letting me know if you end up not being able to hear me, like, I will go get my other computer and we'll, like, swap it around, but I think it's I don't know if it's my internet or okay, but back to feedback. And this goes for where we're doing office hours, this goes for stuff in the tool, stuff in the community, things that you're looking for. I just want you to know that I love the feedback, and I'm happy to, uh, you know, take it all into consideration. Quite difficult to understand you. Oh, you can hear me when I lean in. Alright, well, we're gonna get up close and personal. Alright, you guys, here are our options. And continue audio note. I am getting notifications. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to mute and I'm going to turn off my video. I'm going to go get my other computer, which is my personal one, and I'm going to stay live because I don't wanna kill the YouTube feed, and then I'm gonna switch out my computer, but while we're live. So, if anybody shows up in the comments while I'm doing this, if you guys would just manage for me letting them know, and I will be okay. We are gonna try this, and I am going to try and put back in my other microphone. Yeah, the beauty of working off of 2 screens. You can see this is the other one, so we're just going to do a move over. You guys go ahead and start pinging me with how the audio is coming through while I move the mic. Yeah, the audio works good. Okay. Sound divine. Now I'm hesitant to even plug in my other microphone, but it is even better. You guys are the best. All right. Hold tight. We got to plug in this computer. And okay. That might have been really loud. Let me know. We're just going to move right over here. And I'm going to leave that one. Let's see how this goes. Okay, we're good. Move my mouse over. That is worse. Okay. All right. Well, then we're just going to go with the built-in mic. Okay. And we're going to go back to that since this is the best option we found so far. And you guys, I've never had this many issues with, I mean, I've had mic issues, don't get me wrong, but I've never had this many issues on an office hour with my audio. That's usually like my strong point. Okay, well, So, speaking of technical issues, one of the things that I brought for us today to discuss is all of the technical issues our platforms are having this week, right? So good enough, no worries. Okay, good. Um, all of our platforms are having like kind of technical difficulties, right? So, the key to is audio, not video. I've always taught that over the years. I agree with you, Scott. Which is why I have such a great mic. I don't know what's going on with it today, but we'll get it fixed for next week. Um, okay, TikTok. So I've seen a lot of people talking about, I think there's probably a couple things happening on TikTok kind of simultaneously. One being they had a major outage, I think from the snowstorm, although I didn't do much deep digging into this, with one of their server farms or whatever. So there's a big power outage, and it ended up like they were communicating with some of their communities that are like specifically for TikTok creators, letting people know that there was an outage, that they knew that there were bugs. There were specifically issues with reporting and also with views. So like people would post things and it would show 0 views, even though people were seeing and watching the videos. So that was an interesting kind of situation coming out of the snowpocalypse. But then also kind of simultaneously, Amazon is having issues with their creator connections reporting. Have you guys seen changes? I think it's like back into November where there are some changes showing up in people's reporting for creator connections. I'm not sure about just specifically like the commissions from regular transactions. It seems to be right now specifically creator connections from what I've seen. But just having issues with that. Somebody brought up a good point, and I wanted to be honest with the Amazon stuff. We don't know what's causing it, right? TikTok has come out and said, hey, there was an outage. We're working on it. We're aware. On the Amazon side, I don't think we've seen any communication from Amazon directly. And yeah, Brianna says, my reporting is changing $50 to $100 a day right now back through December. Yeah. So I think there's a couple possibilities for this. Somebody brought up the fact that yesterday or today was kind of like their changeover for that API that they told us about. I think the product advertising API. And they told us that that change was coming, 2 months ago, but this was kind of the week that it was all happening. So it is possible that it's a back end like changeover situation for how they're doing reporting. Let's see. Yeah. Karen says, that makes me feel so much better. I thought something with my channel was going on. I was getting 0 views. No, I think you mean on TikTok on this, but no, it's not just you. There's like a pretty major bug on the TikTok like back end right now. I've heard people say like, hold on posting. I don't know how I feel about that. I would probably just keep going. Like, unless you have videos that for shop specifically, you want to hold off until they've figured their stuff out and just post like fun or other content in the meantime. Beth says, yep, creator connection problems. For a while, it was just a couple of days, and now I'm seeing 0 a lot. I thought it was just me. Nope. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Karen says, yep, to TikTok. I had creator connection earnings pop up on the offsite reporting for the past week, and now it's gone halfway, and earnings have been adjusting too. This is kind of what I'm seeing. Yeah, Beth says through December. Yep. People are seeing back through November. Yep. Here, Scott says, my overall creator connection money dropped $8K in the last 90 days, but November payment stayed the same. So it's just a reporting glitch, in my humble opinion. I agree with you. I think this is one of those visualization issues. So it's a front end problem, not a back end problem, meaning that their reporting on the back end is still accurate, but what is showing up to us is not showing up accurately. So Scott, I think you're right. I agree with you. Yes, on TikTok. Yeah, TikTok has had like a crazy bug situation. My November creator connection earnings are missing for the last 5 days of the month, although the pay shows to be correct. The earnings are missing on the report. I'm not worrying about it for now. Yeah. Um, One of our other friends this morning posted something and he was like, let's think about things in quarters, not necessarily day to day. And so I really like that. I think I'm going to lean into that for us here in a minute. But it's hard when you're watching stuff change and there's not a lot of communication or explanation from Amazon, and also knowing that this is a front end visualization, not an actual reporting glitch, is really helpful. I still find it astounding that Amazon can have these creator connection reporting issues and not even send an email to us saying we are having technical issues. Not sure how that is possible. Even TikTok did. Yeah. TikTok sent something out. I one of my personal soapboxes is I think everybody needs a communication director. Like, and I mean that so sincerely right now. So like my kids will join a new activity and just having to learn how an ecosystem works. I feel like once you're in something for any amount of time, you forget how much context you assume into every conversation. So, like, once we've been with School of Rock or whatever for a year, like, okay, now I get the cadence and everything else. But what would really be helpful is if in the beginning there was like an onboarding, right? I I think Amazon associates specifically needs a communication director. So like um we should be getting emails, kind of like TikTok sent one out and was like, "Hey, there's a bug in the system. We know what it is, whatever." But yeah, I always like to give credit where credit's due. Amazon's influencer program and associates has done such a better job on the education piece. So, like, we have Creator University, we have all those PDFs. I think the gap that we're still missing from them is communication around these sorts of things. Kind of like in the moment, like, hey, we know that that you guys are not seeing the accurate numbers. We want you to know that we know that, and it's right on our end. It's just the front end, what's being pulled forward to you is not showing up correctly. Everybody would feel better. Yeah, Beth says, I hope they rectify it on their own without us having to hound them with email. Because let's face it, our community has been known to send an email or two, especially when it comes to reporting and payment. Rightfully. Rightfully. Scott says they'll never send emails about stuff while they work on it, or probably after. LOL. I agree with you. I wish they would. But I don't know. Amazon has been pretty black box around a lot of it. So it is on brand for them to not send an email in the midst, or even sometimes after. Also, sometimes recently they've sent stuff after, but I agree with you. I'm just hopeful. I feel like I have no idea what I've actually made this month. Well, that sucks. I'm sorry about that, though. Yeah. Yes, Liz, if they would communicate, it would be easier on them too. I agree with you on this. I think one of those things is people underestimate how much proactive communication can save you in way of customer service, customer satisfaction, all of those things. And I understand that for Amazon, the customer is always going to be the shopper. So whether you are an affiliate, a publisher, a seller, like wherever else you fall in the ecosystem, the shopper is the customer. But the rest of us are pretty heavily engaged. And so it would probably save their customer service team specifically a significant amount of work from people asking questions. Amazon is so not good at communicating, especially about this kind of stuff. Yeah, here's what I actually think. I think everything in Amazon is so siloed that I don't always think that the people who would be in charge of sending the email actually know what's coming into customer service and or what technical bugs and issues the engineers are solving for that week. Yeah, they should at least get an AI bot to send us emails. I agree. And also, somebody sent me the Dylan Page video on what's happening on TikTok right now and the AI moderation that they've got going on, and now I'm a little nervous about having any of the platforms, like, implement AI moderation or emails automations. Their communication director is in California with a pile of ladies with pretty kitchens sharing the content on Instagram. Yeah. The joke being that all of the Amazon influencers who are ever invited to events, sorry, it's cold in my office, guys. We got to get the heated blanket back on. Any creator who's ever invited, like, to the Amazon events are pretty women with kitchens that are all white tile, which, if anybody's ever had to try and cook or clean in one of those, it's a nightmare. They are pretty, but I can't imagine trying to, like, keep that up. TikTok is so annoying, but I use it for my business. Yeah, I have had limited TikTok shop affiliate commissions earned. I don't want to say success because that feels like an overstatement for the amount that I've earned. And I hold that TikTok has the best discoverability for any platform right now. So, like, I can't seem to nail TikTok shop affiliate hook and sale and those sorts of things. And that's okay. Like, it's fun to, like, mess around with, and I have the accounts. I can jump in there. We've all heard I have a bug on my TikTok account story, so I'll leave that out. But I've started playing with, like, another account just to kind of, like, do talking head videos, talk about the vibe coding that I'm playing around with, just kind of more of as a hobby. And it's really fascinating, like, how quickly that account is growing. Now, it's not thousands every day, but just for the amount of time that I put into it, it does have significant growth, and from people in the same space. So it's like the discoverability around what I'm talking about is really good on TikTok. So, yeah. Now, we all know they're going through this, like, migration acquisition. I don't even know what they're calling it, but, like, with the ByteDance moving over, is it Oracle? I don't know. Anyways, they are going to probably have some technical issues. And for those of you who were with Fluencer Fruit through the fall, when the Wayward acquisition technical piece was taking place, so we were combining the back end, basically doing the technical merge of the Fluencer Fruit admin and the Wayward admin panel stuff. And even on, like, a scale of our size, you guys know there were bugs. We had issues that would pop up just from, like, the scale of migrating that type of technology. So I won't be surprised if, changing over backends and some of that sort of stuff causes more bugs before it's done. More of a, like, it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. So I think the outage that they're having was either well-timed for them because it let them kind of, like, slide through some of the other things happening on the back end, or it was poorly timed because now they're getting ready to step into this other migration that's going to probably cause, like, a couple more issues before it gets better. Just my guess. Hey, now, don't hate on Callie. My kitchen isn't pretty. And if it is, that is also fantastic. I love a beautiful, clean kitchen for the people who can keep it up. Yeah. Don't worry, we are an equal opportunity. I'm sure that some of the Instagram kitchens that are invited to the Amazon events live outside of California. So one of the most interesting things that I learned at some point was that a lot of these creators are not, like, they have content creation houses. It's not like their personal kitchen or their personal, like, space, which makes so much more sense to me. So how do you constantly keep all this stuff up? But yeah, I found that out not long ago. So, or maybe within the last year, not long ago. Everything feels like it was yesterday and all that good jazz. Okay, let me pull up my list of things for us to chat about today. Oh, the other thing that I was going to talk about, yeah, Beth says, I did not know that. Kathleen has a content creation house. I didn't know that. I do know, well, Kathleen, I won't speak on your behalf. I will let Kathleen speak to that. Okay, here was the other thing that I wanted to talk about with creator connections, because I know in general, even before kind of like some of the reporting wonkiness started happening, that people were talking about creator connections being lower in January than we saw in December. And I wanted to go ahead and propose that there's probably a couple reasons for this, but that we not maybe like overinvest or think too much of that kind of like shift. I would think of creator connections as, yeah, okay. I didn't want to speak out of turn. Sure do. It's my condo office, all furnished with items from Amazon. Yeah, Kathleen's condo. Yep. Um, so Q1, January has historically been pretty decent for me, like from the influencer side, commissions and everything else. So don't see like a huge drop. And also that's from like the shopper perspective, right? Meaning like people shop a lot in January. We've got gift cards, we've got post Christmas returns, money, those sorts of things. Creator connections, I would put more into the bucket of what sellers are doing, right? So, like when you think about where sellers, brands are investing their time, their money, their budgets, Q4, I think, is always going to be on the higher side for them, right? So, like thinking through Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all of that going into Q4, into the holidays, it makes sense that brands are going to be spending more on things like creator connection campaigns, PPC, all of that good jazz. So we don't have years and years of data around creator connections yet to start drawing year over year data and conclusions about this. But I just am guessing that we will most likely see a natural kind of like drop in creator connection campaigns in Q1 of every year. Now, again, that's not data. I'm just kind of like anecdotally pulling out pieces from the space as a hypothesis. So if you were even before the like kind of reporting thing, seeing like less on your creator connections earnings than we saw in December, my guess is that's going to be kind of like a normal ebb and flow to creator connections. Now, the other thing that I've heard people talking about in creator connections is the quality of the brands. So we are not, as far as I can see, yesterday when I checked, we were still well over 500,000 campaigns in there. We're not seeing a drop in number of campaigns. But now that Creator Connections is open to everybody, both on the creator side as well as on the brand side, you still have to be, I think, brand registered, but I'm not positive about that. Most brands that sell on Amazon are brand registered at this point. But now that it's open to brands and creators kind of openly, we will start to see that influx of kind of like lower quality creator connection campaign offerings from just like brands that maybe we wouldn't, how do we say this? The quality of like the campaigns, we might see harder to find those really good campaigns. I'll say it that way. So all that to say, this is within the Amazon ecosystem, like it used to be that you could do as a seller, you could do what are called incentivized reviews, where like I could send you my rain ponchos for kids in exchange for a review, like that was the actual deal. I'll send you this if you will leave me a review. Now you couldn't tell them what kind of review to leave, but that could be the deal, right? And then all these deal sites popped up where new sellers could say, hey, I will give you these free products. And over time, it just gets where like you get spammier and spammier listings, and it was harder to find like those high ticket items that sellers were giving away. And you got kind of into that. And anytime, I mean, I don't even know how many sellers there are on Amazon.com, let alone Amazon Global right now. But at one point, it was like 3,000 products a day were launching on Amazon. So it makes sense to me that even like as the offering grows, that we'll see kind of more of that influx. There's just going to be more sellers on there, and that brings in offerings of all types. Now, that goes back to like the Fluencer Fruit filters, and the ability to search in there helps make sure that you're finding those good offerings, right? So you can say, I only want to look at products over $50, $100. I only want to look at products that have 15 to 20% commissions, 100 reviews, whatever your filter set is. That's part of why we built that in. Many reasons. 500,000 campaigns, no matter how you slice it, is a difficult amount of products to search through. So all that to say, that's kind of my hypothesis. I imagine we'll see some ebb and flow around volume. I imagine we'll continue to see more and more brands that are like spinning up campaigns. Hopefully we'll see less of the like brands launching the exact same campaign every month to try and get that like bump in creators joining, because it just makes it harder to sort through and all of that stuff. But no. All right. Those are the things, including all of the audio issues, that I had scheduled for us today. Oh, you know what? Kathleen, will you do me a favor if you're still here? Will you drop the link to your live? I had it ready and it's on my other computer. But yeah, if anybody wants to drop that in. Next up is Kathleen over on her channel for office hours. And I want to take a minute before we like totally wind down. A couple things coming up, and I know we did this at the beginning. Next Thursday, Kathleen and I are going to do a 2-hour office hours special. It will be live on both of our channels. You'll be able to join us wherever you would like, but it will be both of us together. And we just thought, with Kathleen moving to Thursdays and us moving to YouTube, that it would be a fun way to kind of kick off. We're all in the same space now, which is very fun. So that's next Thursday, February 5th. The following Tuesday, February 10th, we have here on the Fluencer Fruit channel, Claire and Nicole doing the Amazon Influencer Strategy Chat. February 26th, there will be no office hours because I'm out of office that day. And then March 5th, that following office hours, Lane is going to join me to talk about automations. And if you guys don't know, like, Lane is a master of automations. He has almost automated like almost 100% of his content creation, redistribution, all of that stuff. So it's really fascinating. So he's going to come and present for us at office hours the first Thursday in March. Yeah, Scott says, someday I wish Amazon would limit brands from only having an ASIN in one campaign. Yeah, it seems like something they could easily implement. I agree with you. I also think, like, so when you look at the Fluencer Fruit like overlay and you look at by campaign or by ASIN, it's really interesting. They'll have like 10 campaigns with like a mixture of 5 to 10 of the same ASINs. And I know why brands do that, right? So on the brand side, what they've found is when they post a new campaign, and this is going to make sense to all of us immediately, right? But when they post a new campaign, they get probably 90% of the creators join within the first 24 hours that are going to join, right? Which, with over 500,000 campaigns in creator connections, it's hard to sort through all of that. So when they're at the top of the list, that's when they get most of their opt-ins. Makes perfect sense, right? So they end up posting campaigns multiple times to get that bump. Now, Amazon says don't do that. Amazon has told us as creators, if you're opted into any of their campaigns with that ASIN, that you will get the highest percentage payout. So if they have one that's 10% and one that's 15%, you as the creator are not at risk of getting the lower commission if you didn't opt into the other one. Like Amazon has said, we'll get the higher one. But from the brand perspective, they're trying to get more people to opt in, that visibility and everything else. Historically, well, one, that type of a marketplace interaction between like basically a two-sided marketplace, visibility is just tough, right? And it's going to continue to be difficult for them. So I don't know what the answer is from the Amazon side. Like, I don't know what they would do to make that better for the brands and for the creators. On our side with Fluencer Fruit, you can use it to sort through that stuff faster, right? But I'm with you a little bit more in way of like control over that. Yay, what date for automation again, please? Absolutely. Lane is going to join me, and I will let you know, we have penciled this, so there is a small possibility we'll have to push it, but I will keep you guys in the loop as we get closer. Right now, we've got it scheduled for Thursday, March the 5th. So that is the first Thursday in March, and he will be joining us. Yeah, I have a few products that are in 200 plus campaigns. Yeah. Scott, I have a question. Do you opt into all or as many of the campaigns, or are you like a once I'm opted into one, I'm good? I tend to rerun so like once I run the Fluencer Fruit Creator Hub download and I dump all of my ASINs into the widget to like find the campaigns or whatever. If I have them in a campaign, I tend to like put the ones that are showing up as accepted a campaign back in to run them through. I know what Amazon says, but I kind of like being opted into all of the campaigns I can find. So yeah, I know people have different opinions on that. That's just mine. So yeah. I think because going back to like the black box, because we don't know and we don't have visibility into some of that stuff. Yeah. I accept all of them, especially when using Fluencer Fruit, as it accepts them as they are there. Yeah. Yeah. I know there's a couple more of us in here who do that as well. It's just kind of like, if there is one, I'll opt in, whether I'm already opted into one with that ASIN or not. Yeah. Oh, I was going to say one more thing, guys. I know we talked about this a little bit last week. Australia reporting does not have ASINs in it right now. There is conversation around like if that's because there's too few, like if you have too few sales, or if that's a new changeover. So there was like an announcement from Amazon Australia saying they were going to change the reporting structure. And then now, like when I download, and I'm going to say this, I've sold 2 items on Australia in the last 30 days. I've made $2.34. So I do not have like a bulk, list. So it could be volume, but just calling out, there is talk around like if Australia is just the first to implement this, or what this could mean. I pulled the reports. I looked, and at least in my view, with under 10 items sold in a month, I'm not seeing ASINs anywhere in the report or like in the code in the back end. So just letting you guys know in case anybody's looking at their Australia reporting, kind of like wondering what's going on. Yeah. Paula says, I always opt into every campaign because I get paid on multiple campaigns for the same product. Every exact same clicks, pay, and earnings for those same ASINs. Do you think that's duplicate, or you think it's like, oh, you said exact same clicks. Interesting. That's exciting. All right, you guys, sorry, it's so dry here right now. I'm going to pull up Kathleen's because I had it pulled for us before, so that I can give it to you guys so we all know where we're going. I will be there for her office hours as well. And I'm just pulling it here since I had it all on my other. The hard thing about going from like one computer to the other is like I work on 2 screens usually, but my second screen is plugged into the other computer that we're not using. So I'm trying to work off of just basically my laptop. All right, that's Kathleen's. Um, yeah, Scott says you shouldn't be getting paid on more than one campaign. Yeah, sometimes there are different categories. So this is actually, this was early on. I don't know if you guys remember this. Before, well, I don't know how long this lasted. Anyways, like a year ago in Creator Connections, when brands posted campaigns, it was only to match, like if they posted in home and house or home and kitchen, there we go. We as creators were opting into, we could only opt into 20 categories. And so if we weren't opted into home and kitchen, we wouldn't see a campaign from a brand. And so what brands were doing is they would post the same campaign to all of the categories, sometimes separately, but sometimes they would group them like 10 categories, 10 categories, 10 categories or whatever. And so if they're still posting in different categories, my guess is that's left over from when we had to choose categories. It was kind of a weird, I understand why Amazon did it because I think they were trying to control some of the chaos we've been talking about, which is just basically like 500,000 campaigns is a lot to sort through, but yeah, now we can see all of them. I don't think that I know do we still pick categories? I actually haven't looked at that back end of my account in a while. I'm not sure if it's a duplicate, but when you have a product that earns you $300 in a month and then another 300, I'm not leaving that on the table. I don't care what anyone says about it. This is the thing, right? So I get paid in different campaigns for the same product. My guess is it's not duplicate transactions, but here's my thing. If one campaign catches the click, but another campaign would have missed it, I'm not willing to take the chance. Even though Amazon says that they've got it all under control, I'm not willing to take the chance. Yeah. I totally think it has to do with different categories, 100%. Yeah. And it all comes down to, right, like some of this weird nuance where like it depends on how a brand categorizes things. Even down our commissions, you guys, depend on how a brand categorizes something. And I'll give you an example. Exactly. Yes. So if a brand has a bookshelf that would typically go in a nursery, when the brand is setting up their listing, they're going down a decision tree. And depending on how they've kind of like built their brand, are they a children's brand or are they a furniture brand, right? And so when they go down this decision tree, they are coming at it with the context of how they've been thinking about their product. So if you look at bookshelves, for example, we know this is my favorite category to like demo because it's easy. But if you look in bookshelves, you'll see kids' bookshelves that are categorized as furniture, which I believe is 4%. And then you'll see bookshelves that are categorized as kids' items for like 2.25% or 2%, right? That has to do with how the seller makes their decisions when they're going down that categorization, like rabbit hole, right? But because of the way they've categorized it, it impacts how our commission is like set up by Amazon. It's really weird, but down to Creator Connections, right? Like same thing, how they've categorized it, at least at the time, impacted how we saw the actual campaign. So yes. And yeah, like Paul said, if one campaign is picking it up and the other one didn't, I'm still going to opt into all of them until Amazon says that's against terms of service. And then I will immediately stop doing that because we are a white hat only community. Does Oink select all of them or just the best? I think Oink does only one. And I'm not sure how Rob has it coded to determine the best. So I'm not sure, Karen. I know I feel 96% confident that it's one. I would not dare to expand on how Rob has coded for the best, whether it's longest, highest commission, or something else. So, yeah. Fluencer Fruit, for what it's worth, also does only one. Yeah. Best one, only one. Yeah. Fluencer Fruit also does only one, which is why once Fluencer Fruit gives me that list of ones that I'm opted into, I'll run those back through to find duplicate campaigns. So, yeah. All right, you guys. We are at the 12, which means Kathleen is getting started. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, my favorite hour of every week. And thank you so much for all the help with the audio. If I've learned anything, it's that I've probably been doing office hours from my personal computer and not the work computer. So we will move back over here and we'll get the audio solid for the entire hour next week. But best one. Now we'll say this has not proven to pay me the extra when it is Halo sales, which makes sense. However, if I have content, accept all. Yes, absolutely. Cheers. Bye. All right, guys, we'll see you next week with Kathleen and I together. But in the meantime, let's go join her office hours and I will see you guys over there.